Let's go ahead and get started. You can take a comfortable seat. Roll the shoulders up and away from the ears. Keeping the chest nice and lifted, we'll drop the nose a little bit toward the floor. Eyes can be closed or soft. And just connecting with how you're breathing, just noticing how the breath is moving through the body. We'll start to add a little to the exhale. So start to squeeze the belly in on the exhales, pushing that breath out a little bit more. And then adding a little bit to the inhale. So you start to feel a little bit of that expansive lungs and even along the back side and the sides of the body. Without strain, just adding a little bit more to the breath, each part. And starting to feel throughout the whole body, sensing the parts of the body that are touching the floor or your mat. Feeling the parts of the body that are exposed to the air. And then sensing now along the entire front side of the body, from the face, the chest, belly region, the front of the legs, really down to the feet. So you can sense the entire front side of the body. And then we'll move the awareness to the back side of the body, back of the head, back of the neck, shoulders, back of the body, back of the legs, back of the feet, the entire back side of the body, so you can sense that part. And then move the awareness to the left side of the body, the left side of the head, the left shoulder, left arm, left hand, left side of the torso, left leg, left foot, the entire left side of the body from sense into there. And then sensing now into the right side of the body, the right side of the head, the right side of the face, the shoulder, right side of the belly, the hip, the legs, the foot. Entire right side of the body, sensing in that part of the body. Now integrating the front, the back, the left, and the right for total body awareness, starting to sense and scan and feel the entire body. Take a couple more deep breaths here, breathing into the whole body. And on your next inhale, slowly open the eyes and come back into your space. All right, let's interlace the fingers and we'll take the hands forward and up and over the head. So you reach up for the ceiling. We'll bring the hands back down. Let's change the interlace of the fingers and then forward. And we're bringing the hands back down. Let's take the left hand down and the right hand up and over for a side bend. And then we'll come on up and over to the other side. And coming on back up to center, let's take the hands back by the hips, draw the shoulder blades together and down, lift the chest up toward the ceiling, and then you can tip that pelvic bone a little forward and come into a back bend. So maybe look up or back behind. And on inhale, we'll come on and back up to center. Okay, let's work our way into hands and knees. So the hips will be over the knees, and the hands will be directly under the shoulders. Once you're here, let's come into cat-cow. So on your inhale, tailbone up, chest up, belly drops toward the floor. On the exhale, arching the back, tailbone toward the floor, and the head drops down. So be back and forth here, cat-cow. And the next time if you're in cat pose with the arched back, that'll be the last one. We'll come back to a neutral spine. And then let's take the hands forward, about shoulder width apart, spreading the fingers. We're going to bring the hips forward for a half plank pose. So hips in line with the knees and the shoulders, abdominals supporting, hands and arms are strong, broad across the collarbone. From here, you're going to tuck your toes of your right foot and lift just the right knee, pressing back through that heel, 3/4 plank pose. Just breathing here, so just the right side, shoulders still over the hands, nice strong hands, breath in the body. We'll bring the right knee down, we'll switch to the other side, press through your left heel, lift just the left knee off of the mat, 3/4 plank other side. So making sure you're not sinking in the back. We're going to use those abdominals to lengthen out the spine. And we'll bring that left knee back down, coming back into your half plank pose. So hips are still forward, half plank pose. From here, we're going to come into a half side plank pose. So pick up your left foot and swing it out to the side. And then you're going to roll onto that hip. So stack your hips, your right foot will come to the floor. And then you can stack your shoulders. Yeah, so you could lift that hand up toward the ceiling. So your hips are still forward. The shoulder is still over your left hand. Bring this half side plank pose. Actively push into the hand that's on the floor and actively reach for the ceiling with your other hand. Good. Then we're going to come all the way back into that half plank. And then we're going to take a rest here. So you can take your knees a little wide and bring your hips back to your heels in prayer pose, reaching through the hands, breathing. On inhale, we're going to come on and back up to that half plank pose. Remember the shoulders are over the hands, the hips are forward in line with your knees and your shoulders. And I'm going to do that half side plank on the other side. So you can take that right foot, swing it out to the side and rotate. Trying to stack the hips, stack the shoulders, and you might lift the left hand up toward the ceiling. So actively push into the hand that's on the floor and reaching for the ceiling with the other hand. And then we'll rotate on back to a plank, half plank pose. So just half plank. These are down. And then elbows in close. We're going to lower all the way down onto the belly. Tops of the feet will come to the floor, tailbone down, elbows in, lift up for cobra pose, head and chest lifts. On exhale, we'll come back down. We're going to slide the elbows under your shoulders for Sphinx pose. So the elbows are directly under your shoulders, hands are shoulder width apart on the floor. So here you want to make sure your shoulders are not hunching up toward your ears. You want to draw them down the back toward the floor, tailbone dropping down, so down and away. And you should be able to lift the head, chest, feel the openness on the neck. From here, you're going to take your left hand and turn it 90 degrees. So it's turning toward your right hand. And then your right hand, you're going to reach back for your right foot. So bend your right knee and reach back so you can grab a hold of that foot. Once you have the foot, you're going to start to pull it in towards your hip. And you might even be able to slip your hand to the outside edge of the foot, take your elbow toward the ceiling. Just going to pull that foot in, feeling the quadricep muscle lengthen out here. And then we'll release that side and we'll come to the other side. So we're going to switch hands and have your right arm now turning in towards your left hand. And you're going to bend that left knee, reach back with your left hand, grab your foot, and start to pull, starting to draw the foot closer to the hip. And release that foot. We're going to bring the hands now back by your shoulders. Abdominals in. We're going to push up to that half plank pose. Up onto your knees. Tuck your toes and let's come back to a downward facing dog. So all the way up and back. So feet are hip distance apart, outside edges parallel, and the heels are starting to work toward the floor. Try to use the leg muscles to draw back and reduce the weight on the hands by pulling back with the legs. And then we'll walk the hands and feet together for an Uttanasana, standing forward bend. The legs are working here, lifting the tailbone up toward the ceiling, upper body softens down, dropping your head toward the floor. Make sure your feet are hip distance apart, outside edges parallel. Take a deep bend of the knees for chair pose. Come on up. Tailbone down, chest open, elbows straight. And then push into the feet, come on up and release the hands. We're going to work on pyramid pose. So if you want to use a couple of blocks, you can. You can have those up at near the front of your mat. One on either side there. I'm going to take that right foot forward. See if I can turn sideways. So the right foot will take right between the blocks and the left foot will step back behind. Square the hips towards your right foot, toward that front foot. Both heels down if you can get them there. So try to get both heels down, back heel down, both legs straight. Yes, you can hop them in if you need to. And think about that right hip is going to come back toward what is behind you, making that leg super, super long. And press into your big toe mound of your right foot. So you really feel connection across that whole leg. From here, I'm going to hinge at the hips, keep drawing back with the right hip, and then bring the hands down if you're using blocks down onto the blocks. If you can reach the floor, you can do the floor too. Both legs are straight. Right hip drawing back toward what's behind you, and then extend through the spine, reaching to the top of the head. So you feel a length from tailbone to the top of the head. Everything's super long. Just breathing here. Connecting with your feet on the floor. So active feet, pressing all 4 points on the feet to the floor. So left and right sides, heel and toes. You're going to take the left hand, if he's got a block, you're bringing it in just a little bit. So it's about 3 or 4 inches away from your front big toe. So just bring you a little bit more towards center. Still keep that right hip drawing back behind and the right foot pressing into the mat. So nice long leg there. I'm going to start to turn the chest to the right. So we're going to open the chest by stacking the shoulders. Slip your right hand to your right hip. That can help here. Stack your shoulders, but keep that hip moving back. Make sure it doesn't swing forward. Keep it moving behind you. Stack the shoulders. You might turn toward the right. And if your shoulders can stack one on top of the other, you could release that hand up toward the ceiling. We call triangle pose. Inhale, come back into pyramid pose when doing the twist. I'm going to take the hands with the blocks just a little bit forward here. So just as if you're straightening out the arms and just moving them beyond your foot, just a little bit forward. Bend your front knee and then transfer your weight onto your right foot by pushing in your toes with your left foot. Transfer your weight onto that right foot and then straighten the leg. You can keep your toe down on the back to start here. Length through the spine. You'll know if you need to walk your blocks a little bit more forward. Nice and long here, so if you can lift that back leg off of the mat and extend it behind you. Push into that right foot, one that's on the floor. Push into that foot and extend to the spine. Tailbone the top of the head like you're flying. Breathing here. If you want additional challenge, you could take one or both hands off of the blocks and extend the arms by the ears. Just an option. Also keep those hands down. Push into that right foot. Reach to the left foot. One more breath here. And then they come out as opposite the way you got in. Bend your front knee enough to get your back foot in contact with the floor, and then straighten the leg to come back to pyramid. Walk your hands back by your foot, by your front foot. And then from here, I want to come on up. So you can take a slight bend to the knees and come on back up to standing. All right, you can step your feet together. So one leg may be longer than the other. Let's try to straighten them out, to even them out. Let's try the other side. So we're going to take the left foot forward, right foot back. Square those hips towards your left foot. For what's in front. Yep, all the way around. Square to what's in front. Now this left hip is going to continuously move behind. Front leg super straight, big toe pressing into the mat. Keeping that, we're gonna come on down, release the hands down to your blocks on the floor. Pyramid pose. Notice if that left hip started to move toward your shoulder, keep it back, keep it lengthening, making that leg super long. Connecting the feet with the floor, so spreading your toes, feel the weight across the whole sole of the foot on both feet. Lengthening from tailbone to the top of the head, creating space between the vertebrae and spine. And then we're going to work our way into a revolved triangle pose. So you can bring that right hand, if it's got a block comes to, just a little bit close to the front foot, maybe 3 or 4 inches from your big toe. Keep that hip drawing back behind, that left hip drawing back, and then stack your shoulders and start to open out toward the left. You can take your left hand onto your hip and start to draw that back. So opening here, it's still strong in both legs, still moving that hip back behind, still lengthening, twisting around the spine. Yeah, and if you want, you could release the hand up toward the ceiling. Revolved triangle pose. Squeezing in towards your core, finding that balance in the posture by toning the muscles of the legs, toning the muscles around the abdominals, but still relaxing as much as you can and breathing. All right, let's undo the twist, coming back into our pyramid pose. And then from here, we'll take the hands with the blocks if you got them a little bit forward. Bend your front knee and transfer the weight onto that foot by pushing into that foot and coming up on your toe on the back foot. Straighten that left leg. So nice and strong left leg. Reach through the top of the head, lengthen the spine. And then from there, you can lift that back leg if you'd like. Extend back. Pressing into your left foot, nice and strong there. Both knees straight, lengthen the spine, breathing. This is half warrior 3. And to come out is opposite the way you got in. With control, bend your front knee enough to get the foot back down on the floor. And then you can straighten the leg, coming back into pyramid pose. And then we'll bend the knees and come on up to standing. Good work. All right, standing into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take the hands out, we'll bring the arms up and over the head. Palms together, crescent pose to the right. So we'll drop down here, shoulders in line. Holding here in your crescent pose, we're going to take the hips and move them a little bit more toward the left. So just moving them out, you feel the more of a length on that side. Inhale, I'm going to come on back up to center. I'm going to come to the other side. So starting to drop down to the left, both elbows straight. Down evenly. And then to add a little more, take the hips out to the right. So feel that shift there. Inhale, we'll come on back to center. Release the hands to your lower back, fingers toward the floor. We're going to draw the shoulders back and come into a back bend. Tailbone forward, chest lifts. You might be able to look all the way behind you. The further back you go, the more the tailbone has to come forward. And abdominal supporting will come on back up to standing. All right, let's do a little tree pose. So if you need to, you can find a piece of solid furniture that you can use for support. We're going to start standing on your right foot connecting with the earth, right leg strong. The left knee, will bend that left knee and take it out to the side. Notice when you do that, make sure the hips don't swing with it, right? So the hips stay level. And then you could bring that foot maybe to your inner shin or above the knee to your inner thigh. Try to keep those hips level. Hands wherever you like. If you need that support, just keep a hand there. Finding your challenge place in your tree pose. Where's your challenge tonight? And then we're gonna come on out with control. Set that leg down. Hopefully you were breathing and not holding your breath. Let's try the other side. So take that left leg, that's your standing leg, keep that level. And take your right knee out to the side and somewhere on that left leg. Again, using what you need, finding just where is your edge today. And staying with that edge, staying enough challenged that you can stay present with what you're doing, but not so much that it becomes an anxiety or tension in the mind. So not holding the breath, keeping that breath flowing. And then come on out with control. Okay, good. Well, let's do a little bit of lateral series and then we'll drop down to the floor. So we're gonna come into Trikonasana, triangle pose, followed by warrior two. So I'm gonna start with the right foot. So if you wanna block to the outside of your right foot, you could do that. Remember, lateral series, your hips are in line with your feet. And so we're not squaring to what's in front, we're instead lining them up. So right toes, you're gonna turn those so that the outside edge of your right foot lines up with the long side of your mat, nice and parallel there. Your left foot, turn your toes in, heel out. Toes in, heel out on your left foot, and your feet make a line. The hips are gonna stay in line with your feet. Both legs strong, both legs toned. We'll take the arms up here. So finding your balance. And then reach through those right fingertips, hinge at the hips and bring the hand down to your block if you're using one. If you're not using one, you could just rest your fingertips on your shin. Somewhere there. Stack the shoulders, open the chest, length through the spine, triangle pose. And it might help to lean back a little bit. So you're trying to get your shoulders and your head in line with your left foot. We'll rest here in triangle pose. And then tone the muscles around your right knee so you don't snap it. We're going to bend that knee right over your right ankle and come up for warrior two. Virabhadrasana 2. Shoulders stacked right over the hips. Strong pose, front knee bent, back leg straight. Really practicing with that total body awareness, global body awareness. Can you sense your feet? Can you sense your hands at the same time? Can you sense the front of the body and the back of the body? Let's turn the right palm up toward the ceiling and reach up for reversed warrior. Left hand could come down the leg or could curl onto the back. So reaching your front knee still bent. Getting as much of a side bend as you want here. Inhale back up to a warrior two. I'm going to straighten that front leg when I come to the other side. So you might be able to just swap your feet or you might need to turn around. If you used a block on the first side, you can use a block on this side. So left foot, the outside edge lines up with the long side of the mat. On the right side, toes in, heel out. So inner spiral on that right side, but the hips are in line with the feet. So the hips move a little bit away from that turn in. Hips in line with the feet, both legs straight. Your front knee, if it was to bend, would be over your ankle. All right, so we'll make sure we got, yeah, nice outer spiral on that left side. Both legs straight for this one. Straightening both legs, we'll take the arms up for Trikonasana. Both legs strong. We're going to reach through the left fingertips, hinge at the hips, and bring that hand down to your block or your shin if you're using a triangle pose. Leaning back here, try to get your head and shoulders in line with your right foot. Stacking the shoulders, twisting around the spine. Breathing triangle pose. And toning the muscles around your left knee. So we're not snapping that knee at all. We're gonna bend it right over your left ankle and come on up for warrior two. So tailbone drops between the feet. So yeah, so lengthening out the lower back, shoulders over the hips. Moving here, warrior two. Then we'll turn the left palm up toward the ceiling and reach up for reverse warrior. Right hand can be down the leg or curled up onto the back. Front knee still bent, and coming into a side bend. On the inhale, release back into warrior two. And then we'll straighten the leg and step the feet together. We're gonna work our way down onto the mat. And we're gonna come all the way down onto now I'm gonna do this one first. So we're just gonna sit first, and I'm gonna do a Baddha Konasana, seated Baddha Konasana. So if you are one who rounds, if your back looks like this when you sit, then you should be up on a blanket. So you can just grab a hold of the blanket and sit up on the edge of it so that you can have that pelvic bone tilt a little bit forward. If you can sit on the floor without rounding your back, then you don't need a blanket. We're going to take those feet into a Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, grab a hold of those ankles and see if you can bring them in just a quarter of an inch. A little bit closer. So knees just drop here. They don't, you're not actively pushing them down. They're just doing a little gravity. We'll take them. Shoulders back and down. So chest nice and open. Lead with the chest, come on forward. Any amount here, Baddha Konasana, round angle pose. Now, if the shoulders just want to come forward, you can always keep your hands back by your hips and then push into the floor. It'll give you a little bit more length. So really want to make that spine super long. So you feel the chest coming forward. It's an option here. Inhale, we'll come on back up. I want to turn towards your right knee. So from an upright posture, twisting around, starting to bring your shoulders in line with your right knee. And then from here, any amount starting to come forward. Now, if this other hip is coming off of the blanket, try to keep it rooted down and see if you can drop your chest toward your right knee. I'm going to inhale, we'll unwind from that side. I'm going to come to the other side. So from upright posture, we'll turn toward your left knee. Try to get that shoulder around. And then any amount, starting to drop the chest toward that knee. Keep your other hip down if it's coming up. On inhale, we'll release, come back to center. Grab all those knees, draw them toward each other. Now we're going to work our way down onto the back, and if you have a strap, that could be helpful. If you don't have one, that's okay. We're going to come down, so you just have the strap close by, come down onto your back with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. I'm going to pick up the left foot and place it onto your right thigh. Left foot onto the right thigh and push your left knee away from you. So it's moving further away. Yeah, it's like almost like you're crossing your legs. You're just going to have the foot or the ankle resting on the thigh. And now pick up your right foot and draw the right knee in close to the body. So you're going to draw it up towards your chest. And then you can grab a hold of your strap. Kick your right foot up toward the ceiling and then see if you can lasso your foot. So if you need to undo that in order to get the foot, you can do that and then put your left foot back. Yeah, there you go. So when I come to this version of thread the needle pose, starting to pull on the strap or pulling on your right leg, bringing it in a little bit closer to the body. At the same time, the left knee moves away from you, so it's not really close to the chest. And then if you're using straps, hold them both in your left hand, so the opposite hand, holding both straps in your left hand. Slide your left foot a little closer to your hip, down toward the floor. So just starting to pull it in a bit. And now you're going to bend that right knee and bring your right foot toward your left knee. So we're going to bend the knee and draw the foot in by pulling on the strap. And if you're not using the strap, see if you can reach down and grab a hold of that right foot with your hand and draw it in toward your left knee. Yeah, so we're bending the knee and turning the knee outward. So if we were sitting on the floor, this would be fire log pose. I'm doing this reclined. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and release that. Now I'm going to switch to come to the other side. So you can release that left foot. Maybe it's easy to slide it into your strap. Your right foot then comes onto your left thigh and the knee out to the side. Taking that left foot up toward the ceiling, starting to pull inward. So if you're grabbing a hold of your strap or the leg, you're going to thread the needle pose. And then we're going to transfer the straps to your right hand. Draw your right foot a little closer to your left hip. Bend the left knee and swing the foot toward your right knee. So you can pull on the strap here. So this will bring your left foot to your right knee, and your other foot is on the thigh. So we would be stacking the legs here if we were sitting down. And then we'll go ahead and release those legs, release the strap. And let's take the feet about mat width apart. We'll take the hands over the head. So let's reach the arms all the way up over your head. If you can grab a hold of your hands over your head, you can make a diamond shape here. So you can bend your elbows a little bit, let them rest down toward the floor. And then with the knees bent and the feet on the floor, just drop the knees from one side and then to the other, just releasing the back. And we'll work our way back to center. Release the arms. Now one more here. We're going to pick up the feet, draw your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your hands around your knees or your shins. We're going to do a little bit of abdominal work. Take a deep breath into your belly. On your exhale, draw the abdominals toward the floor. Lift your head and chest. Bring your nose towards your knees and squeeze. Hold the exhale out. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Inhale and release the head back down to the floor. Nice big inhale into the belly. On your exhale, abdominals toward the floor. Lift the head and the chest. Bring your nose to your knees and squeeze. Hold that exhale out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhale and release. Bring the head back down. Nice big inhale into the belly. Last one. On your exhale, abdominals toward the floor. Lift the head and the chest. Bring the nose to the knees and squeeze. Holding the exhale out. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And release. Head back down. Breathing into the belly. Release the legs and work your way into Shavasana. Corpse pose, extending the legs out, hands by your sides. Make yourself comfy. Allowing the body and the mind to relax now. Developing that observer quality of the mind. See if you can observe what is happening, what is changing in the body without engaging in a story behind it. Just be present with what is. Begin to deepen your breathing. And allow some movement to return to the body. As you're ready, make your way to a seated position. Hands together at the heart. Recognizing how fortunate we are to be able to practice together. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Drink lots of water, sleep well, and I will see you in class again. Namaste.